Totalmente. Sería.
Por Zoom.
Totalmente. Sería.
Por Zoom.
Totalmente.
No, el audio no lo estoy escuchando.
No se escucha el audio.
Estoy escuchando por allá camiones y todo eso.
Yo escucho como ruido de fondo. No sé si sea el micrófono del pues, suyo o algo.
No, pero ya se está escuchando.
No, el audio no lo estoy escuchando.
No se escucha el audio.
Yo los escucho, escucho a todos ustedes.
Eventually you'll be able to design. At the moment, in Splash, everyone's making their own pads. Are playing pads that everybody plays. And we're moving to a moment where everyone can design their own.
Como ruido de fondo.
We're hoping this is the interface of the
No
future.
sé si sea el micrófono del suyo
This is your instrument. It's a big
o algo.
pad, and behind the
Ahí, por ejemplo, me estoy escuchando a mí mismo.
you like that drum? This bass works.
No, pero ya se está escuchando.
No, get a different sample.
No, el audio no lo estoy escuchando. No se escucha el audio. Yo los escucho, escucho a todos ustedes.
The app went out. It went pretty well.
Okay. It's a Zoom error. It's allowed.
La dimensión desconocida.
And then we kind of realized that the real target was the age group of 10 to 12. They just weren't downloading.
Ahí, por ejemplo, me estoy escuchando a mí mismo.
And we wondered
About this platform, which, if anyone watching doesn't know Roblox, it's called the YouTube of games, isn't it? Like it's not one game. It's a platform where lots of people make games, and you can then play those games with your friends. So it's kind of a platform of many games. Some of them. It's called the YouTube of games, isn't it? Like it's not one. One of those is now Splash, an AI music making tool.
That's right. Like it used to be, like it's been around a long time, but it's really blown up in the last 3 or 4 years. Well, there's 150 million kids on there. Like, I think the sweet spot's like 6-year-olds to like 13-year-olds seems to be about the sweet spot. And predominantly 9 to 12. That's the real. There's a big group, big cohort there. And so, I saw my kids running all the time. I jumped on. I just said to them, like, "What are some of the music games are on there?" And there was some, but nothing like Splash was on there. And I realized that, oh, this is cool. Why is everybody ignoring this? Like, this is an age group that is really forming their musical tastes. It's a time when parents want them to start learning an instrument. All of this is why they're not playing the piano, because these games are outrageously fun, and this is much more fun than learning to play the piano. So, we decided, well, we had a look at the development tools and looked at how advanced some of the games were. And so we were able to build a game there. I think it took our team like 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It was really fast. And we were able to stand up a whole music game on there. It let us take that experience to a whole new thing, because you can go, it's like the old turntable idea of there's a DJ and you're in the audience and you wait for your turn to play. But instead of going up there and playing other people's music, you literally have to go up and play yourself, and you have to play a keypad. And so, we launched it, and it's wildly addictive for the kids who always wanted to be a musician or be a DJ. So, it's only early days. I think we're now 7 weeks in.
Yeah, but the stats are pretty impressive. I mean, I keep every so often I see you tweeting the latest kind of milestone. Like, where are you at now in terms of visitors?
So I think we just went past 7.5 million, and we're doing about a bit over 1 million a week. And yeah, it seems to be, but again, it's only just touching the sides. The audience is massive. The top games do 50, 60 million players a day. Incredible numbers of just in the weirdest games, like adopting pets games and like a lot of role playing goes on there, and but music's definitely underrepresented there. And it would be a tricky thing. I know that they have. I don't know the details, but I know that they have talked to the labels on and off, and they haven't been able to get a deal to bring music onto the platform. And I can understand that they probably don't really need to, because kids are having a great time on there already. The tools are really good, and yeah, we've loved it. Like, and more than that, it's become our biggest driver of growth for the app. Like, the kids are going and playing the game, and then they go, oh, now I want to practice. I go and get it on my phone. So yeah, it's been really good for us.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because like one of those, I don't know, in 2015, writing about the first AI music startups in the modern era, if someone said then, yeah, by the way, in 5 years' time, there'll be 7.5 million kids or million kids week visiting an AI music powered creation tool within a big games platform, it'd be kind of, it's the pace from kind of it being a technology to being a super mass market consumer product, without the music industry necessarily seeing a lot of this along the way. Like, even now, Roblox is still quite unusual for the music industry, and Splash is still.
When we launched it, and I was so proud, because I knew people were gonna love it, because we could, I've been building products for a long time, and all my team has been with me for a while too, and we were all like this. You just had those moments as a group where we were going, they're going to love this. People are going to love this. We knew it when we were making it, because we were having so much fun. Like, our testing was getting out of control. Like, we're an hour into our tests and we're still playing. Normally when you test your own stuff, you're like, I'm over this. But, here comes someone with some wings, and someone's flying through the room, and there's a gravity bomb goes off, and things are crazy. And we just get lost testing our own game. And we're like, oh, yeah, the kids are going to love this. But I remember I launched it. And I'm friends with a lot of people in the industry now, and I got lots of, oh man, I'm really sorry, like, that it didn't work out. Like, you're now making kids games. What happened to the AI stuff? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, well, you're making kids games now. Like, have you pivoted? And I go, no, this is where AI starts. Like, it's going to start with kids. And like, they're the people, they don't give a shit. They just want it to sound good. Like, they don't care. And they really don't care. Like, they don't seem to go, no one has ever said, how is this made? Or like, they haven't, like, there's no, is it real music? Like, I often get that from the pros going, yeah, but is it real music? Whatever that means. But the kids don't, for them it's just music. But, when you think about it, to think that 1 million kids in the last 5 or 6 days, 1 million kids have played AI music to an audience, like, is pretty, and probably not surprising. I only realised it when you said it. It's not surprising to me that kids would be the first people to do it. What does it mean, do you think, like, on the bigger picture? Like, if there's this generation of, if there's 1 million kids on this alone, but as it grows more, instead of learning piano, they're learning to make music for other people with AI. What does that mean for the industry in 5-10 years' time, when those kids are at the age where they might be becoming artists? Like, are you looking forward and thinking, this could be an interesting spawning ground, talent pool for the industry and for new artists? I think it has to be. Like, I was chatting to a guy this morning who was saying he was surprised how the game was inverting what normally happens. Like, normally what happens is, you toil for ages to learn to play something that even sounds half decent. When someone say they were learning the violin, it was months before you could be in the room with them, but they could actually play something that you could listen to.
I once saw a demo at my son's school, and it was like 8 violinists aged about 7. And I've got a video of it, and it's like, bless them, they're lovely children, and they're wicked, but it was the most horrible sound I've ever heard.
And he was commenting that it was like computer, not my generation, but younger generation, been brought up on computer games where everything is easy and then gets harder. Like, that's the game. It's really accessible, and as you get better, the stakes get harder, the games get harder, and you have to get more detailed. But music isn't that. It's super hard to start, super hard, and then if you get good enough that you can actually, then one day you might get a chance to go on stage. But in this game, you start by, hey, jump on stage, and you immediately get a bit of a feel. Like, we get so many emails from 10-year-olds. It's really quite touching. So many emails from 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds going, I found my thing. I'm not good at sport. I'm not good at school, but I'm great at this. Like, I'm going to be a musician. And or I tried to play the piano and I couldn't, but now I'm going to give it a go because I know I got on stage and people loved what I did. And surely, if more kids are making music, more people will listen to music, more people will. It's got to be a positive for the music industry, surely.
Well, it's an interesting thing because well, like every parent, I worry that my kids aren't doing the things I think would be good for them. And like I love games. I've been a games journalist. I'm nothing against games, but I see them. Their fandom is all about games at the moment, and they're not really so interested in music. But it would be quite exciting to me if they started making music, and if that's within one of the games they love spending time in, then that's a cool thing. Like
that's what I see on those. Like it's not there's definitely on Roblox and platforms like that. There's definitely an element of shooter games, but by far the most popular games are about kids being creative and expressing themselves. Like there's one called Foxburg, which is wildly popular, which is you basically design an apartment and you invite your friends to come and hang out there. And it's not about being an architect or something, but it's about spending hours and hours getting something just the way you like it. And it's a design thing. It's a creative process. And music's the same thing. I'll spend hours and hours making a song that I like so that I can share it with people. And it's just the creation that's really good. And I think that's, that can't be a skill that's misplaced in the future. Being able to be creative and persevere and create something original. That's got to be a good skill for kids.
Definitely. I remember when we first started talking years ago, there was that question of like, will an AI ever have a #1 hit single? That was the other question everyone jumped to. And it's kind of interesting to me because, like, say if Jillionaire is using Splash Pro on the next Major Lazer record, then it's quite possibly going to be a #1 record. Like, that's not really, again, a question anymore. But how else do you think the music industry, can be leaning into this technology or leaning into the people creating this technology? Like, what do you see as the next developments in terms of you've got the tech, there's a community building, how does the industry kind of interact with that, I suppose?
I don't know. Like, I think that at the moment, at the stage it's at, like the one thing we learned working with the pros was they're so good at this. Like, maybe if they use an AI, at best it can be like a collaborator that might give them a few ideas, but it's still, they're all so good that it doesn't really move the needle for them. And that was like we released Pro, we didn't have any ambition that it would be transform the music industry because these people have spent 20 years, 50, whatever it is, being really, really good. And so it might just give them a few ideas that then they pick up. And my overwhelming feedback about Pro is that they go, oh yeah, that shit,